a founding engineer of Skype.
Oh my gosh, hey!
Hello. And in recent couple of years I've gotten really interested in a thing called technological singularity. And I am a donor to Singularity Institute and also trying to get to establish another institute in Cambridge, UK with Martin Rees and Hugh Price.
Cool, so how did you get involved being the founding or co-founding engineer of Skype? How did you start that?
Well, that's a really long story. So where should I start? 72, I was born. Skype wasn't, like, we had a team that had already worked together for about 1.5 decades or so. And Skype wasn't our first project. Skype wasn't even our first successful project because that can be said, I think that title goes to Kazaa. We did Kazaa file sharing.
Oh wow, yeah.
So it's so sometimes when people ask me, so how did it feel to be part of like something as big and world-changing as Skype? Sometimes I just out of smugness I answer that. Familiar?
Familiar. So now, where are your efforts? Are you still at Skype? Do you still do that? Or
I technically am. Still, I go there to meetings and advise people about the internals of the code.
Nice.
But I don't spend that much time there. So.
Okay. So your talk today, what was that about?
My talk today was about what I call intelligence stairway, which is sort of if you take like really step back and look at what's happening on this planet since the beginning, then you see an interesting phenomenon. It is you see a sequence of so-called optimization processes, basically processes that try to design things to fit better with some particular criteria. For example, evolution is trying to optimize organisms to have better reproductive success, right, etc. But the thing is that those optimizations, that's like a curse of optimization. And the curse of optimization is that if you're like careless and just optimizing away, you might end up producing systems that are better at optimization than you are. So, for example, when evolution was just like ticking along on this planet for 4 billion years, suddenly produced a brain, Charles Darwin. That brain actually was able to look back and see, like, wait a minute, we are being evolved here. But this is something like no evolution the right mind should do. Because like what has happened now is that if you look around in a city, like there really aren't that many things that are product of evolution. They're product of technological progress. So in that sense, the technological progress has really taken over from evolution as a dominant future-shaping force on this planet. However, technological progress is not going to go on forever. It's likely going to stop this century. Once we create something that's better at creating things than we are.
Right.
And my talk was really about that we had to be super careful about creating something like that if you want to kind of survive in the future.
Right. So how do we? I don't know. How do we do that? How do we balance letting ourselves evolve while keeping the technology?
Do you guys have any little tiny?
Or
yeah.
Can we do that, or are we gonna kick like? There's a fish.
Something's fishy.
Or is it just gonna be like ground zero, and we're not gonna be able to stop it?
Unfortunately, the default is bad.
Right.
But I'm getting more and more optimistic because there are a lot of people, as we call them, sane people, who are actually catching on and saying that, wait a minute, this is something that we really should be careful about, and therefore I am making it my mission to sort of talk to those, locate such people, talk to them, support whatever institutes they have, and make sure that they talk to each other and collaborate in order to make sure that the outcomes of artificial intelligence are good.
Cool. So, just for our Google Plus crowd right now, anyone who's watching is probably really hardcore into Google Plus and the Hangouts, and I'd be really interested to get your perspective on Hangouts, or what you know about them, and everything. What's your opinion?
Well, it was clearly something that we were thinking about doing for Skype. But well, the thing is that as the organization goes really, really big and it gets like mired down in different financial objectives and things like that, it becomes hard to kind of make big architectural changes. And Skype was always kind of peer-to-peer, and such like massive broadcast turns out it's much easier to do in like server client architecture. So I think Google has done it pretty well.
Do you view them as a competitor at all, or
potential competitor? Sure.
So they're on your map.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So if you're going to leave the Google Plus crowd with one idea or one thing to leave them with, what would that be?
I think the idea, as I said in my lecture, is that I think it's time to stop thinking about artificial intelligence at human level and beyond human level. Artificial intelligence is something that you just that is a topic of science fiction. I don't think it's a topic of science fiction anymore. Well, like also although it can be, but like it's actually a serious thing. And just thinking about the examples that are going to come up from science fiction is not productive because science fiction is not optimized for being the true thing. They're optimized for being interesting. And reality might not be interesting at all. So it might just be harmful.
Gotcha. Okay, awesome. Well, this was Jaan.
Thank you.
And he was one of the co-founding engineers of Skype.
Thank you very much.